just want to see if I'm actually getting this whole idea of assigning support right. I don't, that's the only thing I'm having trouble with here so far. So this is support only, of course. And I'm assuming that this is limited, that this is supposed to be see-through because there's no yellow support number. I think this is see-through to the background color of the counter, so I believe that's limited. So this is always in support. So here's my off-board 5th Light Division card placeholder. So I'm assuming that that would go in there. That can only be support. So during the assignment phase, let's see, I assign this here to that unit. And he has the same colored stripes, so he could only go to the 5th Light Division. Now, the way I'm reading this other thing here, we have a train, the HQ, and I'm going to say this unit here. And from how I read the support, only non-dual AV units can be put into support. That is a non-dual AV unit. And then up here, let's see, this machine gun unit wants to take this town, or he's getting ready to. This is totally hypothetical. So just kind of bear with me here. And that is a assault arrow. The support's available to every assault arrow unit in the formation, regardless of the support's unit size. You can only change into or out of support during the assignment phase. So say this is the assignment phase. I don't want to assign this armor to support to later help out this machine gun unit. Place the unit near its HQ or off map. And in order to do this, I should only be in a position where I could physically move to the HQ hex on its move side. So I could physically move here on my move side easily. I can physically move there, no problem. Place the counter with its greater printed AV rating showing while in support. So you're saying I take this, flip it over, and I would put it off map if I'm using these cards into there. Is that correct? I'm just trying to... So basically I took an entire armor unit off the map and it's zooming around out here ready to support people. Oh, and of course we have to mark the HQ with the support marker to the appropriate type, red, limited, or standoff. And again, I am extremely new to this and I haven't seen many videos where people physically do this on camera, and that's what I was looking for. So then we take red support and we put that like so. Okay, and then later when the support reconcentrates into an actual unit, we would take this off, flip it to its move side, and we put it into the HQ's hex like so. The red support would go away and then the limited support marker would go on here because this is limited support. You don't need red and limited on top of the same stack because the red does what that does. Just remember that when you go to do your support assignment, that you're going to want to use this 2.0 support book, which you can get off of the Gamer's website. And you're going to make sure you follow this assignment procedure chart. They mention that in the 2.0 rule book. So in case you're looking for it, it's actually in the support book. And since I don't have it yet, I had to use the PDF here. That is on page 21 in that support book. So you'll want to download that too and make sure you have it. I'm not sure that the 1.2 rules mention an assignment procedure chart, but this actually makes it easier and breaks down. An intrinsic unit would be one that has the formation assigned to it and a name on the right side. So most of the ones that we were showing were these intrinsic units, that armored thing, the armored battalion. So just a heads up. Take a look at that, and that helps immensely. I wanted to further continue to show just one of the ways that you could have support dropped. Of course, I think you can also drop support through combat, but I'm not that far yet. So let's take a look here. We're going to slide this up. I had to look all over the map. This is going to sound weird, but I needed a salt marsh. And here's why. So here, I moved everything up. Here's the HQ. He's got his, let's put him here actually. I want to make sure, just in case you can't go into that, we'll put him here. He's got his red support being marked because he currently has red support, and then he's got this other one here. But let's say the 8th Machine Gun Battalion is getting into a fight here for some reason. And he is forced to retreat into the Salt Marsh Hex. I believe that's a full Salt Marsh Hex, or you could go this way. Anyway, he's forced to retreat. And support will drop anytime the host, he's considered the host, moves or retreats into across terrain that is prohibited for TAC movement allowance. Now, if you remember correctly on the counters, the TAC movement allowance is the red number, tactical movement allowance. And so you remember that right here. So that's a tactical movement allowance support. And if you look at the Brazen Chariots combat or terrain effects chart, look at Salt Marsh, you can see that tactical movement is prohibited in that Salt Marsh right there. So that is prohibited. So you would have to take a support drop marker and you want to place that on top of that unit to show that it lacks support. And naturally I could see that where you don't have tanks zooming around through a swamp and that sort of thing. And you can find, I'm using 2.0. I switched my rule book to the 2.0 rules. The 1.2 rule book was kind of brutal, I'll be honest with you. The 2.0 is so much better, so hopefully none of the rules changed dramatically. I don't think they did. And I had to print it on a black and white printer until Panzer's Last Stand comes in to get the color fun stuff. The host will not be able to make use of any support until either the situation changes or the current activation, friendly or enemy, ends. So just a heads up there, that's one way you'll be using these support dropped markers. So I think that is an example. I haven't seen anyone do a specific thing on this because it was driving me nuts and I wasn't sure if that is the correct way to show support and to actually perform it physically live on a camera. Yes, I know it may not be the smartest thing to do, but I just wanted to make sure I got this right. And I wonder if I should talk about real quick the temporary drop support marker. Yeah, the temporary drop support, and I don't have that marker out. Let me see if I can find one real quick. I may have gotten that. Yeah, here we go. I think this is the one that's caused by combat. You see that temp support drop? If support is dropped because of an engagement table result against the host's hex. So if he were attacked and there was a combat engagement result, you may see a temporary support dropped. And that, of course, will do different things to the ZOC and all sorts of crazy stuff where the other player may be attempting to drop the support so that on his next activation, he can do some cool stuff. We're not really going to go into all those right now, but instantly replace any temporary drop support marker with a drop support marker if the host no longer has a support establishment safe path. And so we didn't talk about the safe path, but you can lose your support if you get completely surrounded and you have no safe path to the actual support. So remember, the red support is actually back here. You have to have a path. You have to be able to get to it. And so, if he gets surrounded or something like that, you will drop support. So just keep that in mind, because you still have to get a safe path back to where this actually is. Remember, you put the support marker on the HQ. So, if your HQ's far back or doing something or something happened to it, just be mindful of that. If you have multiple units in support, like for example, here we have this armored unit and this unit here is in support also. In the 2.0 rules, you want to take a look at page 7. Multiple units in support can help defend against engagements via a Dyro modifier. Follow 5.2b regarding which support you must use if more than one is available. So depending on how you're attacked and the situation that's going down, different types of support may be eligible or not eligible. That's another thing to keep in mind. All right, then you may be saying, what's a safe path? How do I know? These are the crib notes for 1.2, so your mileage may vary. Path of continuous hexes, command radius +5 from a unit to its HQ. So the command radius here is 12, 17. I think that's quite safe. But of course, if you have this HQ, you might want to keep your HQs way in back. 17 is huge. So you never know what might come in and block roads or surround a unit. Okay, so that's kind of a short definition of a safe path. If units in an HQ have to check, in an HQ hex, the safe path must be 3 hexes long following the roads leading back toward the combat train. So something like this. So if you're in this hex and you have to check when you're in with the HQ, make sure you follow that rule. 3 hexes long following the roads leading back to the supply trains. All right, so let me know if and these cards are great. I got to get them off a color printer. You want to cut these out and kind of lay them alongside the board. I think there was a video by someone that was using these, Wise Guy and the Tabletop Edge maybe. I highly recommend these. Of course, this will be used I'm going to use a chip pull system. One of the optional rules when I play. I actually have Baptism by Fire I'm going to put up on table 2 and practice with that. I don't think I'm going to play Baptism by Fire because it just seems... I hate that the counters don't have these color-coded bars on there, and I'm going to be getting on to Panzer's Last Stand. So, but I will use Baptism as practice. So these cards, though, are great. It helps me. I mean, I could put these out. You know, you could splay them out, as they say, on the map here. But man, I don't know. It's just so confused. I don't want them on the board, so I prefer to use this. All right, let me know if I did anything wrong. And this is very simple. Again, I just wanted to make sure I was doing this right. So that's just some basic support allocation rules, and it does not even cover the tip of the iceberg on what to use and when to attack and how they affect attack. I just wanted to get this up there for new players. Thanks a lot.